It all started in a quiet town in Vermont, where winters were long and the bookstores were warmer than most people's homes. Ethan Monroe was 23 when he first saw her. Lila Bennett. She had wild sun-brown hair, eyes that never just looked, but searched, and a voice that made poetry sound like truth. They both reached for the same book in the shop, Pride and Prejudice. She smirked. "It's mine if you haven't read it." He replied, "It's mine if you've read it twice." She had. That was the beginning. Their love wasn't loud, it didn't need to be. It lived in shared coffee cups, long walks after bookstore closings, and scribbled notes passed between classes. Ethan, a quiet planner with a heart too big for his chest. Lila, a wildfire of words and dreams, always looking toward the horizon. Then, one autumn evening, Lila sat beside him and said the words that shattered him quietly. "I'm moving to New York." She wanted to write. Not blogs or essays, real stories. Books that would sit on shelves long after she was gone. "If I stay," she said, "I'll love you and resent you at the same time. I can't do that to you. I can't do that to us." Ethan didn't beg. He just whispered, "I'll wait. I don't know for how long, but when you're ready, I'll marry you." She left the next morning. In the 10 years that followed, Ethan became a legend in their little town. He became a high school teacher, coached baseball, kept his late father's garden alive, and opened a small used bookstore. He also wrote her a letter. Every single Sunday. Letters she never replied to. Letters she never even opened. Some were short, some were pages long, some said only, "I hope you're okay." Every one of them ended with, "I'm still here. I still love you." People told him to move on. His sister begged him to find someone else. But Ethan would always smile and say, "Some people are worth waiting for." Meanwhile, Lila made it. She published 2 books, worked with big editors, saw her face in bookstores across New York. She smiled at red carpet cameras, kissed men who looked good in suits, but nothing filled the hollow space inside her chest. One rainy afternoon, after a call from her mother back home, she returned for a short visit. In the attic, she found a dusty shoebox. Inside it, over 200 unopened letters, all from Ethan Monroe. She sat for hours reading them, one after another. He wrote about the changing seasons, about the apple tree in his backyard that bloomed each spring, about his students, about missing her, and he never blamed her, not once, just love. Pure, waiting, unshaken love, the kind that made her cry for hours without knowing how to stop. The next day she stood at his door. 10 years had passed. He opened it, and for a moment neither of them moved. Lila whispered, "I read them." "All of them?" he asked. She nodded. Every word. And then came the question that took 10 years to speak. "I never stopped loving you, but do you still want to marry me?" He didn't need to answer. He just walked to the kitchen drawer, pulled out a small wrinkled box, and opened it. Same ring. Same promise. Same heart. "Yes," he whispered. They married under the oak tree in Ethan's backyard that spring. No grand ceremony. Just close friends, a few fairy lights, and 2 people who had finally stopped running. From time, from themselves, from the past. But love is never easy, even when it's right. Some townspeople didn't understand. She left him. Others whispered, he waited too long. Even Lila sometimes sat up at night, whispering to herself, "Do I deserve this?" But Ethan never flinched. He said, "We're not the same people we were 10 years ago, and that's okay. I didn't wait for the old you. I waited for whoever you'd become." Their love didn't become perfect. It became real. They fought. They cried. They made mistakes. But they also read poetry in the mornings, left each other post-it notes on mirrors, and held hands during grocery shopping like teenagers. Every Saturday they ran the bookstore together. Every Sunday they read old letters out loud by the fireplace. And once, when a young woman came into the shop, heartbroken after a failed engagement, Lila told her, "He waited 10 years. I ran for 10 years. And somehow, we still found our way back. Love doesn't always come when you call it. Sometimes it waits until you're ready." Years passed. They mentored writers, helped troubled kids, held story nights for teenagers who didn't believe in happy endings. They lived a quiet life. One filled with stories, second chances, and a garden that bloomed every year, until Ethan got sick. Time, it seemed, had decided it was his turn to go. He didn't fight it. He had already gotten everything he'd waited for. Lila stayed beside him every moment. She read his letters back to him, his own words now soothing his final days. On his last morning, she held his hand and whispered, "You waited for me. I just wish I had come sooner." He smiled softly. "I didn't wait for time, Lila. I waited for you." And then he was gone. After Ethan's passing, Lila renamed the bookstore, The One Who Waited. Every Sunday, she would read one of Ethan's letters aloud. Some people came from far away to listen. Some just wandered in off the street, but everyone left feeling like maybe, just maybe, real love still existed in the world. Not love that demands. Not love that burns fast and dies, but the kind that waits, quietly, faithfully, forever. True love isn't loud. It doesn't always come when you want it to. Sometimes it waits, in silence, in faith, in hope. The one lover who hopes to marry isn't a fool. They are simply someone brave enough to believe that when love is real, no distance, no time, no silence can ever truly destroy it.